there is a the during reading activity sort of things, and then there is a post reading activities with read alouds. With each, I mean, the point is we have learned that the more deeply we engage with books with children, the more we ourselves learn how children learn to read, and the more we ourselves know how to help children when they are struggling readers. When they're trying to understand a certain, maybe a certain sound-symbol correspondence, or we are trying to understand a certain psycholinguistic brain size, and then when that's becoming a problem, we have seen that books are the best way to mitigate, actually. So, I would stop at that and just go to the next. Is one of the most important things for a literacy classroom. This is probably the only thing that I want to bring to the audience today, that let's understand that literacy is about two parallel strands. We have to have the orthographic expertise built in, but we also need to have lateral linkages with books and stories and the world of Orsi. Independent reading, the objectives of this reading activity for children are to be able to read their books at their comfort level. And the aspect of a literacy classroom, the independent reading time. I mean, we have seen, as practitioners, we have seen that children who are struggling readers, the kind of phonotactic constraints that we are talking about in orthography, the kind of struggling readers, the skill level struggles that we have seen can well be mitigated if there is time for a child to be engaged with a book, and a book that is close to her decoding level and his or her own effective speed of reading. Because the moment you ask them, and if you मैंने ये सवाल पूछ के उनको देखा है कि आप इसको पढ़िए और मैं इस पे बातचीत करूँगा या सवाल करूँगा. The moment you said that, you would see that the speed has come down. So that effective speed, which helps an individual to negotiate, the thinking while reading, is extremely importantly done through an independent reading time in the classroom. So these are made to take the books to the child's, where the child is, to the child's home. So there could be people who the child could pair up with. But it is always helpful, it is probably the best, that in a setting where people are consciously, actively learning literacy, if a child is paired with a peer who are somewhere of the same reading level or a little advanced and can help each other negotiate a text and to create the meaning jointly, rather than just individual. This is one of the other ways of taking a child to a book. So these are some of the, I would say, a practitioner's insights, a thinking practitioner's insights into this issue of why literacy and literature have to go in hand, and why literature is such an important aspect of literacy, and how.
In the beginning. And thank you, Satyavataji. It has always been a pleasure to hear you. And the importance of storytelling, which you have stressed upon, is extremely important to them. It really makes a difference. And they are suddenly become interested in books. They themselves, fetch a book, try to read. So all these things are important. So thank you very much for a very interesting session. And indeed, it is my pleasure to introduce the next speaker. Very eminent speaker, Uma Mahadevan ma'am. She is from the Indian Administrative Service. She is currently posted as Principal Secretary Panchayati Raj in Government of Karnataka. She has worked as Principal Secretary in different departments of Government of Karnataka, and she was a member of the working group that prepared Karnataka's first Human Development Report. So ma'am would be speaking on a very important